story is hard for me to talk about. I'm not sure really what to believe in or what to just let go of, but I want to put it out here because I need advice and because I want to get it out of my head. To start at the beginning, I had a friend. Let's call her Annie. Ever since I met her in high school, she always had issues. Not just the normal stuff teens have to deal with. She was frequently in and out of the hospital and was pretty much always on meds of some kind since I met her. She's a sweet girl and an amazing friend, but these problems progressively got worse up until we were freshmen in college. I hadn't seen her for around half a year, but while we were on break, she reached out to me and asked me to do something that I wasn't expecting. She wanted me to go to church with her. Not to a mass, but she urgently wanted me to drop what I was doing and meet up with her. I'm not a religious or spiritual person, and as bad as this sounds, I've never even been in a church before. She just wanted company in the church and to have a friend there for her as she prayed. I remember feeling off there, like I didn't belong. The iconography of the building painted this grand picture of sacrifice and dedication, but I couldn't recognize much besides the most obvious. It brought me a bit of anxiety, the lack of knowledge of the religion combined with this feeling I couldn't shake. It was just getting to be a bit much, so I decided to walk off and look for a water fountain, or at least be in a part of the building that wasn't so holy. After walking down some stairs near the church's entrance, I found myself in a large room that the church must use for community events or parties. I lingered down there a bit, not in a huge rush to get back upstairs. Eventually, I made my way back up. As I was walking through the doorway, I saw a man standing in the middle of the vestibule. He was looking at Annie. When I stepped near him, his attention turned to me, and he smiled. He was dressed pretty nicely, so I assumed he was an usher or something.
Well, I've never seen you here before.
I remember feeling a chill as he spoke. He kept this smile the whole time that didn't reach his eyes.
This is my first time.
I can tell.
I'm just here for my friend, so...
That friend?
Yep, that's the one.
We both looked at Annie. I wanted to go over to her, but the man stopped me before I could move.
By the way, do you have the time?
I went to check my phone, but it wasn't in my pocket, which was weird because I was walking around with it downstairs. I excused myself from him and went downstairs to search for my phone. I get downstairs and my phone is nowhere to be found. I'm checking places there's no way my phone would have been. I put my hand on my pocket and there it is. Right there in my pocket like it should have been. Fantastic, I thought. I'm losing my mind. So I start heading back and try the two twin doors leading to the stairs, but they're locked. They're stuck, I'm not sure. After a solid minute of trying to open them, I give up and try to look for another way out. There is another way, and it leads me to an exit that goes outside the church on the side of the building. I hastily walk my way around the church and see Annie coming out the side door. She looks visibly ill, fatigued and so worn out all of a sudden. My first thought was that she was crying, but when she got close to me, I was genuinely concerned for her. I put my arm around her and we walked to the car. I drove her home and dropped her off. After that, it was hard to even get in contact with Annie. I never saw her, she never answered my calls, she barely answered my texts, and when she did, they were vague. I didn't take it personally, I knew she was struggling, but I just felt bad that it had gotten worse. I decided to go to her house and knock on the door. Her parents answered, and I could tell just from the look on their faces that things had not improved. Annie was too sick to even come out of her room. I'd rather not get into the details of exactly what was going on with her, but things were as bad for her physical health as they were for her mental health. I left and walked myself back to the train station, and as I stepped onto the platform on the other side, perfectly positioned to face me was the man at the church. He was just giving me that fucking smirk, and that's when this feeling of dread washed over me. The train came and blocked my view from him. As I said before, I am not a religious person. Maybe I'm putting ideas in my own head, but I feel like that man isn't a man. Call him a demon or a bad entity of some kind, but I think that's who's messing with my friend. So if anyone else has any similar experiences or knows how to possibly deal with this, please